Hello, good people. How are you? You having a good time? Are you rocking on? Nice. I like that. Okay. Right now, I want to tell you, and I'll show you also. I want you to go and learn some open position seventh chords. Okay. Very important chords. Seventh chords or dominant seventh chords, as they are known, or you might hear, what's a dominant seventh? It's the same thing as seventh chord, okay? We're going to learn the basic open position seventh chords. These are detailed in the chord library, so you're going to want to go there and watch these. These seventh chords are very important chords, and they're in a lot of songs. Now, the reason why I'm spending a little time on this is because I don't want you to get confused. A lot of students get confused between a seventh chord and a major seventh chord. Two entirely different chords. If you did not watch our module on the color of chords and ear training, go to that module because it's very clear that they are not the same chord, okay? A major chord, which we're going to, you eventually we're going to watch a module entitled Chord Construction, and a major chord is a root third and fifth. Seventh has the flat seventh or dominant seventh, whereas a major seventh has a major seventh on it. I know that doesn't mean a lot to you right now, but this will. Here is a C major seventh. See how, remember from our ear training, and we want to develop our ear, is so important as a musician. The major seventh chords as a family, very sweet, dreamy, and jazzy. That's a G major seventh. Sweet, dreamy, jazzy sounding. Even if I use a bar chord major seventh. Aren't they beautiful? I love those chords. Sweet, dreamy, jazzy. Whereas a dominant seventh chord or seventh chord is very, very twangy and bluesy. Here's a C seventh. Just one note difference. It's not a sweet sounding chord. That's bluesy, twangy. Here's a G7. Right? They'll all have that type of twangy color to them. Here's a seventh bar chord. Right? Very, very, here's a fifth string root seventh bar chord, or off the A string. Very bluesy. You'll hear a lot of like bluesy kind of shuffles. A7. Very kind of bluesy. Here's a D, goes to the 4 chord. D7. You've probably heard a progression like this before. Very common. 1, 4, 5. Goes to the E chord. 7. Turn around. Very twangy chord family. Okay, so what are you going to do? And these chords are in all kinds of popular songs. You're going to see them. And when you see them written out, you'll see a letter like A with a 7 next to it. A7. That's an A seventh chord or A dominant seventh. D7. That's a D7 or D dominant seventh. Usually just called D7. In order for it to be a major seventh, remember, different chord, it will say D, M-A-J, 7, D major 7. A major 7th, A, M-A-J 7th. But if you just see the A with the 7th, that's a 7th or a dominant 7th, has that bluesy, twangy, flat 7th sound to it, okay? So go to the library and here's what you're going to be learning. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on these chords because you can go right to the library, but just to give you a little position shot of them here, for instance, like here's our C major. Just going to add our pinky. C7. That's one of the ones I want you to learn. Okay? All you're doing is you're adding your pinky to the G string at the 3rd fret. You have a C7. C major. Take off your first finger. C major 7th. Hear the difference to those chords? Remember, listen to the chords carefully. That is all about ear training. I could turn my back and have someone play and I could identify these chords. Major, major 7th, C7th, okay? Alright, now I also want you to learn this G7 chord. Alright? And again, I'm not going to show you each finger because you can watch this in the chord library. Just want you to hear that again. Hear that twanginess? At the end, that's that F note. Alright, G7. Okay, E7, very important chord. A lot of different ways you could play this. You could learn this one. Again, hear that twanginess? E7. Alright, you can learn a D7, which you probably know already because you're playing that song, Hey Jude. Hear that twang? That's that flat 7, right? That C sharp note. Alright? A7th, which you probably already know from Hey Jude. It's like playing your A major and just remove that second finger. Again, hear that twang. Okay, or sometimes you can grab it when you're clustering, like instead of like that, taking off your second finger, sometimes I'll grab it like this. Especially coming off the D chord, I kind of like that one. Okay, so you got A7th, C7th, D7th, E7th, and G7th, okay? And the hardest one, I'm saving the hard one for last. You didn't think you'd get away so easily, did you? I want you to learn a B7. This is going to be probably your first B chord that you learned, okay? Now, the B7th is a little tricky, all right? Here's an easy way to play it. Think like an E major, except move your first finger up one string. So your first finger is now going to be on the D string at the first fret, playing that E flat note. Then put your second finger, kind of looking a little bit like an E chord, but up one higher on the B note. Then your third finger, skip a string, third finger goes on the G string, second fret, and your pinky goes on the high E string, second fret. So you got 3 fingers in the second fret range. So a lot of students, this chord gives them a little bit of a headache. And you're going to mute the low E string. You could either mute it with your thumb or let your second finger kind of spill over to touch it. So the low E should be deadened. And here's the B7th chord. Again, hear the twang. Alright? So, go to the library, learn those chords, and then you can start in the song library, video song library, playing some songs that have 7th chords in them. We've already started, like with Hey Jude, and we'll have some other ones. Alright? 7th chords, people. Remember, dominant 7th, root, 3rd, 5th, flat, 7th. And if you don't know what those mean, those intervals that I just said, you're going to be going to a lesson called chord construction, and you'll be learning all about it. Because remember, a little bit of theory is important, but we make the theory easy. We take the beast out of music theory here at the Next Level Guitar. I'll see you in the next module. Rock on. Great thing, this guitar. Yeah. What do you think of this guitar, Tim? Woo! Nice. Double thumb.